3. I want you to think about running 2 laps of this track. Now, the first lap, you can go as slowly as you like. Let's call that speed V1. But on your second lap, I want you to run faster, such that the total average speed for both laps combined is twice V1, twice the speed of your first lap. So the question for you is, how fast do you have to run that second lap so that your total average speed is 2 V1? First lap, so that velocity is weighted more heavily. Total average speed is 2v1. The problem is you can't just add the two velocities together and divide by 2 because you spent much more time in your first lap, so that velocity is weighted more heavily into the average. So you'd have to run, well, impossibly fast. Let me explain. The velocity of the first lap was the distance around the track divided by t1, the time it took you. Now, if you want your total average time to be twice v1, well, then it needs to be 2d over t1. You need to run twice the distance in the same amount of time as it took you to run the first lap. But you've already run that first lap, and so you have no time remaining to run the second lap. Even if you went the speed of light, you would not be...
Okay, when I watched that video, I was very angry. Not because I felt tricked, but because you can sort of look at it in a different perspective, right? So we're saying that the average of this is equal to 2v1, right? We have 4v1, v2 equals 3v1, right? Now, there's for turn it to distance over time. The distance over the time and distance over time here is 3 2v distance, right? Here's my thing though, right? You can't say this, you run 3 times the distance, but here's the thing. You can run a third of the time. And if you run a third of the time, that's the same as running 3 times the velocity. Therefore, all you have to do is run a third of the time on your second lap than you did the first lap.